Guys, Paxton plays here, and today I am here for one of the deck profiles from the Pokemon National Championships, the U.S. National Championships that happened last weekend. Um, this deck is really interesting, and it's probably one of my favorite decks ever played. Leave your comments down below on suggestions what other decks you want me to profile. I can definitely trade for the cards and get everything I need, like I did for this deck. So, the main attack of the deck is Hippowdon. It has the attack double edge, which is 100 for 4 energy, and does 22 itself. But the main attack we're going to be looking at is Resistance Desert. Now, what it does is for fighting energy and 2 colorless, it does 60 damage and prevents all attacks, including damage from EXs. So Hippowdon's really good, but I think the guy who made this, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but the way he made this deck was completely genius. Now, I want to note that I didn't take his exact deck list. I actually had an extra VS Seeker and took an Escape Rope because I thought there's already 2 switching cards, so we don't need more. If you want, you can keep it normal. Also, you can take a maybe 1-0 Sick, as it's probably not crucial to have 2. But I think it's the 2-0 Sick are there specifically for Garbodor and things like that. So, the deck was ingeniously built, okay? It has a lot of different attackers for every situation. So it has Seismitoad to lead off with and just start the item lock, and at some point if Hippowdon dies or something, you can just continue the item lock and just like go from there. And it's really not bad at any point in the game. It's really helpful at all points. But sometimes Resistance Desert isn't good and they have like just non-EX deck, and you don't really need to be item locking, so you can just go aggro with Landorus, and that's what you do sometimes. It caps at 70 damage when you use Strong Energy and Muscle Band, but that's fine. We also run 2 Hard Charm because especially with non-EX decks, you want to make sure that he can tank 1 or 2 hits because Hippowdon is pretty hard to set up. It's 2 energy attachments as well as some other things you have to do, and stage 1 as well with a heavier Chi cost. So you want to make sure you have 2 or 3 in a game, and it's hard to get. So another thing he wanted, the person who made this 1 for aggro, which again I think to be more aggro, which I think was ingenious, was he added 3 lasers, not 4. He didn't feel the need to add 4, and also 1 Burbank. So the extra laser, you don't even need 30 damage from Burbank. Just a 1 damage counter is always very, very clutch. But he decided instead of Burbank, sometimes you need to shut off abilities. For example, Keldeo's Russian, so you can't rush in the retreat. So again, just the guy who made this is made a lot of good decisions towards making this deck, and I just think it was really well built. I understood why he only needed 2 VS Seeker in the deck, because he had so much, like, it's kind of hard to explain, but he had pretty much all the supporters he needed at the time. Like, he never felt the need, he didn't run a bunch of, like, tech supporters and then, like, needed them clutch. But, like, the ones that he did ring, like, Pokemon Central Lady has been really clutch for him for, just, like, taking special conditions off. Sometimes it lets you the Hippowdon live 1 or 2 more hits. And Birch, just because, like, I might switch this for a Colbris, because he said that he didn't fill up his benches a lot, but I've been doing that a lot with the deck. Yes, Karina, because it just really helps out a lot with getting Hippowdons, getting Hippopotas really early game. And if you guys can see, Hippopotas has really high HP for a basic. And also he runs 1 max potion in the deck, which again becomes very clutch, especially with something like Seismitoad. Because all you're gonna attach to Seismitoad is a DC, so you just max potion, get off like 150 damage, and just attachment on the DC. It's not that big of a loss, and you just let your Seismitoad or whatever live for all more turns. And especially with something like Landorus as well, with its beefy HP and low energy attacks, max potion. You can just abuse max potion. Pokemon Center did a very smart pick for this deck. And just like the way that he built this deck gives him outs to everything. He has 4 DCEs, 4 regular basics, and then 4 strong energy. one hand hammer just in case he runs into something he wants to disrupt, like a Seismo DC early game or something like that. Um, but other than that, he runs one Shaman as well because Shaman's just really good, and I need more Shamans online, by the way, guys. So if you guys have any for trade, comment below and I'll trade you for something. But yeah, he figured, you know what, he had like an extra Sycamore, and he figured, you know what, instead of having a Sycamore, I can just Ultra Ball and Shaman. And you guys don't know how often this has been clutch. When you have to get like, um, when you need something and you're digging, you can just Ultra Ball for maybe a Shaman, and that's 3 cards out of your hand already. And instead of getting a Hippopotas, maybe you're looking for Hippowdown and like a DC, for example. You can just drop cards and just get it all down. The stadium lineup has felt really good, really consistent. It's been kind of hard to decide to justify kind of playing hard charm, but it's worked when it does, and because like you get to the point where you're playing EXs and you attach a hard charm early game to Hippowdon, you're like, what is the point of this? I could just be doing more damage. But trust me, it is really good and it really clutch. The Lysander just stalling out and lasering, and then you Lysander and you force him into retreat and like waste resources, and they still have to get. So what ends up happening sometimes is they have an active Pokemon that can retreat into their something with their bench. Let's say an Absol, for example, and they have 1 energy on the Absol, and they have their fully powered EX in the front. But then I Lysander one of their other EXs or something else that requires a 1 or 2 retreat cost, so they can't actually power up their Absol. So they're just like stuck there, kind of wondering what to do, and you're just stalling them out while doing a pretty good amount of damage, 2-hit KOing them at least. This is like Pyroar, but like it's more strong because the fact that you're doing a pretty steady amount of damage, and also it's not reliant on basics. So like it's hard to explain why, but just the fact that it's beefy and that like has support from strong energy and muscle band and laser Verbank and just so good. And also, in case something bad happens, I don't think like Pyro had the Tech Mewtwo or whatever and the Tech Charizard, but didn't have like the power of Landorus and the power of Seismitoad. And Seismitoad is just so splashable in this format. So I've been rambling for about like 7 minutes. So let's just jump in a game I'm gonna play with this deck. I'm gonna show you guys how good it is, and I've been testing around with it a little bit. I really liked it. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna make a video, but I'm playing with someone with an all electric deck, and let's see if I can show off the power of this deck. Tails. Okay. I hope we play against something really nice and competitive. So yeah, you want to go first because this is a setup deck, a stage 1 deck. So this isn't a bad start. You don't really have anything in hand, but I mean, no, oops. Okay, yeah. Let's make sure I got everything right. So I might have to burn the switch. I think I do, but it is weak, so that's good. So actually, I misplayed that. I should have gone for the switch and switched into this, but that kind of would have been wasting resources, so probably not too good. And especially because I cut one of the switches, you don't want to be doing that. But next turn we have the Ultra Ball for the Hippowdon, and depending on what he's playing, we can do a couple different things. So let's just see what kind of deck he's playing, because I know this has Entrainment, which is pretty much Call for Family. He plays on the Verbank, which is very good for us, and then he's Sycamore, so let's see if we can get anything from what he's playing. He's playing a Manectric deck, okay. So, he uses Laser Bank on us, and we're going to take 30 damage in between turn with Poison. Fortunately, we do have a switch, but nothing really to switch into, so that's a problem. He's going to touch a Hard Charm, and that's going to make him live with 10 HP if I do attack him. So I'm going to stay asleep, which is pretty brutal. Okay, this is a good top deck. And now, I think I'm just going to Ultra Ball for the Hippowdown. Yeah, Hippowdown. If it starts lagging. Okay, so Ultra Ball for the Hippowdown. And now I have something interesting I could do. I think I'm just gonna switch into this Landorus so I can attack. Max Potion this. I'm not sure if that was the right play, but I don't know. I didn't really want to drop it. So I'm gonna attach that there and just start applying some pressure. Wait, does Strong Energy, how did that do 80? Oh, I forgot that it was applied after. Okay, so I'm gonna start powering up this Hippowdon. And he's just gonna scoop to me. So that wasn't a really good game. So I'm gonna try to show off another game with this deck. And yes, so we played against a Psychic, Electric, and Darkness deck. So this should be interesting. I'm not sure what's really gonna play out in terms of this matchup. That's probably gonna be the last game, but I'm not sure. Depends how this one goes. Um, so let's just see what happens. So 2 mulligans. Okay, so this is interesting. Since I don't really have a good hand, I'm probably gonna have to go into top deck mode. So I can just go aggro with Landorus, and I'm gonna keep the Seismitoad in my hand. I'm not sure if I want to bench that necessarily. So I'm not really sure what's gonna happen. He seems like he's playing a Seismitoad, Garbodor deck, which won't really shut us down, other than the fact that, I mean, we have Shaman in this deck, but I can't really think of anything else with abilities. But later in the game, we can probably just Lysander, we can Xerosic. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so if he evolves into Garbodor, I can just kind of Lysander stall him and he can't do anything. Oh. Another reason this is a lot better than Pyroar is because he can't be shut off by abilities. So it's just an attack, right? So I'm gonna laser him. He goes to sleep. And I'm not really sure who I want to attack on the bench. I could start sniping this. But I think, yeah, I'll just start sniping this.